Let me show you a bit of history, a bit of my history. My grandma's brother died some time ago, and we found in his house this bayonet. He used to slaughter pigs with these things. You know, the local people, they have no respect for history, and this is very ancient. You know, if they can use something, they use it. And we found this bayonet, and we didn't think it was that old, but look at this. It looks like it's Turkish. See this? How cool is that? So this thing might be over 100 years old, from the Balkan Wars. How cool is that? Another really cool thing is this. That's from my father's village. You know, they have a lot of deer there, and sometimes my father's friends, they find sheds. And this, I've had this since I was about 9 years old. There's a picture of me holding this thing, and this is almost as big as me, as big as my torso at least. I love that thing. It's not that big, comparing to what I've seen there up there in the north, but this is mine, and my dad took it for me, so that meant a lot. This thing is like a horseshoe, but it's actually for a buffalo, like a water buffalo or an ox. And I found this in my garden some time ago. People used to have herds of these things, especially back then, before communism, when people had a lot more livestock, when it didn't belong to the state, it was theirs. And my grandfather's father had them. That's from the local river, from my river. Look at how huge this thing is. Look at this. Look at this. It's beautiful. This, my nephew found this somewhere and he gave it to me because he knows I like old things. And it looks like a little dagger that could be from Ottoman times. Don't know where he found it. Somewhere here, either in his house or our garden, his garden. And look at how cool this is. This looks like something written in Arabic, like a symbol. It's straight out of Lord of the Rings. Look at the runes. Look at this. It's beautiful. Beautiful little dagger. It's still sharp. This, found this in the field some time ago. It's from a shotgun, but it still has everything in it. I suspect it might even be functional. So much of my history is here, because I'm in my home village now. So much, but not enough. See my old music, my cassettes, my magazines. Oh, yeah, here they are. Look at this. That's from 20 years ago. Look at Alice Cooper. Look at this. How cool is that? And a lot more, but not enough, as I said. This is, well, quite heavy. That's where I grew up. That's my street here. That's my friend's house. Church there. It's my father's vines. Now, don't know about you, but the more I come alive, the more I discover my heart and life and the world, the more I hunger for it. There's more of me waiting to come back to life. I believe in resurrection. And here's a quick story. My dad, sorry, what am I saying? My mind here is just everywhere, but my heart, it's awake. That's the house that used to belong to my grandparents, and that's where a lot of goodness was revealed to me when I was a child. My granddad used to have this huge motorbike, and he had written it off at some point. Huge old Russian-ish motorbike, 350cc. And when I was in my early teens, me and my friend, we started it. And I rode it. I took off the sidecar and I rode it. And something in me came alive, because I remember as a child riding in the sidecar and thinking that was a monster of a motorbike. The smoke was filling the whole street, basically. It was 2 strokes. 350, it was roaring like a beast. And I remember my grandmother in the sidecar, or I'm in the sidecar, or and my grandfather would put this leather helmet on and ride up to the vineyard or the field or somewhere. And there was something about the world of adults, especially the world of men, for me, that I desired that. I deeply desired that. And then being able to actually ride that, it was a form of initiation to me, and also form of bringing something back to life. This old bike, when they were old and they only had their donkey and their cart, because that was safer for old people, that bike was just there. It was safely stored, but it was just deteriorating. But I started it after about a decade of not being used. I actually started it. I managed, and that gave me something. That gave part of me back, you know. What are the things in your story? Even if you don't have anything, any object to show for your childhood or to remind you, you remember them all. I don't think I've got much left when it comes to objects and material things. I've got the place, but the place is not the same. Even the fields around and the forest, they're not the same. And yet, my heart is not just the same, but it's actually longing to come back. We lose heart as we grow up. But we must get it back. There's no life otherwise. It's no life. What are the things that bring you joy? And if you can't answer that question, I suggest you go back and look deeply into your own story. My suspicion is that before you find the things that bring you joy, you'll find a lot of pain there. And for decades I ran from my childhood because I ran from the pain. I ran even out of this village. I didn't want this village. I didn't want anything to do with the child that was dead. As far as I know, I killed this child. I suppressed him. I buried him, and I erected the person that, you know, was lifting weights and was big and strong and was pursuing the pleasures of life. But now I'm back, and the child is back. And I think that's the way to manhood. If you want to be a man, you need to become a boy first. You kill the boy, you kill your own chances of manhood. Doesn't matter how old you are. You might be 60 or 16. Might be 70 or 17. If you want to find true manhood, you must meet that boy again. And if you want to meet that boy again, you must work through the pain. Because he's on the other side of this pain. You buried him behind the pain. The pain was too much. And you buried him there. You must go and find him. Don't think anyone can do this for you. God can't do this for you. That's between you and you. And the keys, the little clues, are found in those objects. Here, for example. Or here in those books. Or in the faces of my mom and dad when they were young and very unhappy as far as I can see. No matter what they say. That's my granddad who had the motorbike. He was quite a character. The books... Some of those books. Whatever it is that brings you joy, that once brought you joy, or just brings the memories back. I don't think it's fair to talk about joy when we're pursuing our heart. Joy will come after we find these lost bits of our heart. But now, go in the direction of pain. Go in the direction of your lost childhood, and you will find so much goodness there. I promise you, you will. If you endure the pain, if you work to the emotional pain, if you meet that boy that is screaming from pain and for your attention, and that's grieving and angry or whatever else comes up, you know, that's where my best friend used to live, and he still does. It's still his house. His grandma is still alive, but he works and lives in town now. And the other friend lives just there. He's actually still here. For years, I just didn't want to come here because of the numbness. I just wanted to go to the city and just get drugs and the whole thing. Nightclubs. I lived in nightclubs. The gold is here. God is here. Anything else you pursue, you must be deeply rooted, firmly rooted in the roots of your heart, which is that child. And your native town, native village, your native soil will reveal a lot about your trauma, but also your glory. Find it. Look for it. The deeper the pain, the bigger the treasure. He's waiting for you. That boy is waiting for you. Meet him and you'll find life.